we are officially live. This is our very first live video. So this is kind of new for us. Yeah, I keep looking at the microphone, but the camera is right there. So our first live video, I'm not entirely sure who is going to be watching it right now, but it will go up to
early
our...
in the day.
Yeah, it is, what is it like? 1 o'clock? Almost 2 o'clock. So this is for you to play back and watch. So like the title says, we are at the Hangar bar. We're not drinkers.
No.
In fact, we have some surprises. You can kind of see them glowing down there in the basement, in the bottom. But we'll talk about these before we even get started. So if you've been following us on social media, we have been purchasing as much Halloween stuff as we possibly can, and these glowing poison apple ice cubes have been on our demand list, so to speak.
For years. I've been trying to get these for years.
And we finally got 2 of them to add to our collection. We have more coming. But Hangar bar, we got, what is it, Sprite?
Sprite, yeah.
It's
so
Sprite.
you alcohol not required for purchase. You can only get 1 glow cube per each beverage that you purchase. So alcohol is not a requirement in order to order these. So it's the price of your beverage plus $4. And that's the biggest pull for us, is that you do not have to order alcohol for those of you who don't drink.
What do you think? Kind of looks like me. Not really. Anyhow, alright, so the whole point of this thing, we were trying yesterday to go ahead and, well, let me backtrack, strike that, reverse it, Willy Wonka. Last week I put on our social media a request for questions, and with that we were going to do a live Q&A. And quite honestly, we get a lot of questions about why we spend a lot of time at Disney, as well as other travel things. So this is our attempt at appeasing the masses. Last week
Very
I put...
small mass.
Yeah, small mass.
And muff.
So last week I put out a call for questions, if anybody had any, and that we would do this. We were going to do it yesterday, but life got in the way. We ended up opening...
Adventures.
Yeah. We were at Universal Studios to start, and then we went to Magic Kingdom with family for a family day.
Yeah.
So we're doing this today, and I'm rambling. So anyhow, questions.
I actually have them here on my phone. So we're going to read off some of the ones that we've been asked directly, and then just, I guess, kind of touch on ones that we've been asked while out in public, or that friends and family have even asked, you know, because what we do, or the places that we go to, might seem a bit confusing if you know us. Well, not if you know us, but we're, you know, an alternative couple. We love things like Halloween and horror movies, and you know, we're old school, I guess you could say old school goths, and you know, I've always been goth my whole life, and rockabilly, psychobilly, all that stuff. But to look at us all decked out in black every day, especially with his tattoos and my dagger nails, you wouldn't assume that we'd be at Disney all the time, which we're going to touch on. But again, this is why we do the questions, because people want answers. Yeah, so say like so. Hey, me ramble too.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. Hopefully you guys can hear us okay.
Yeah, hopefully. Because, again, this is the first time we've done this, and I keep not looking at the camera, so
Camera's
apologies,
right
I know. Oh.
It's down there.
Looking at the...
See, like, now they think we're cross-eyed. Alright.
So, I'll let you start it. Was there one that stood out that you wanted to answer first?
Well, I think the one from Roy, my father-in-law,
Hi, Daddy.
her dad, asked us a question. And basically it was, what made you think of doing the Grim Life Collective in the first place? We were talking about this today, Jessica and I. Years ago, I was a professional, hold on. Years ago, I was a professional pizza delivery guy. Dun dun. It sounds spooky enough as it is.
Extra fact.
Lighting.
Behind the scenes magic, guys. This is how it works. Behind the scene magic.
So I would deliver food to people's houses, and they would open up the doors, and they would be this entire family sitting there watching primetime television, and I was there bringing them their food, and it got me thinking that my brain just went goofy. It got me thinking, like, you know, I wanted a family situation and wife, but at the same time I didn't want to be sitting around all the time. I wanted to get out and explore, so I would see these families time and time again, night after night, and it would make me sad and it would make me feel adventurous in my mind. So then one day I was like, you know, let's just make it happen. So the Grim Life Collective was started as a way from keeping myself from being bored, keeping life interested, as well as trying to provide viewers, people who don't get out, almost like a motivation tool to get them outside and exploring. And if they can't do it, then they can vicariously do it through me. But which also leads me into, if you do see us
in the car.
yeah, if you ever do see us out and about, don't hesitate to say, hey, I watch your videos,
Yeah.
I know what you're doing, or whatever, or, you know, your videos are weird. We got a comment, and I didn't respond to it yet, I'm sorry, from somebody who watched a video that I did a long time ago. And their comment, their response in the comment section was, because of this video, my wife and I stopped here on the way driving down to Florida. And it's things like that that really mean the world to me, because, again, it's people getting out and exploring life. That's what Grim Life is. Grim Life, exploring the grimmer side, the darker side of life. Huh,
Yeah.
long question.
We were discussing this in the car on the way here. Not just that, it seems like, but because being in a subculture, you almost want to produce more content for things that you're interested in that you don't get to experience because it simply does not exist. And I made a really big nerd analogy that you know, it's not always perfect at first. Everyone is still perfecting you know, for us, YouTube and doing things like that. But like for me, when X-Men first came out, the movies, they were awful. But I was so happy that they existed, and, you know, as time goes on, you get better at your craft, but it was more, you know, creating something that you're passionate with, and for a subculture that doesn't have a lot of content made for their interests. And it's not just subcultures, it's not. We meet a lot of people who are interested in the Grim Life adventures who look nothing like us, you know, don't dress like us, don't listen to the same music we do,
90%
have different lifestyles, you know, but have similar interests too.
90% of our viewers are people that do not look like Jessica and I.
No. No.
It's actually kind of surprises me because
I love it.
yeah, it's really cool actually.
Yeah. And you know, growing up as an old, I say OG goth because I'm 36, so I think I can claim that title. You know, we do get picked on quite a lot for the things that we do, so there's a lot of discomfort at first for, you know, almost feeling a little insecure or nervous about, you know, going out and, you know, filming some of these things, especially when it's in the public eye. But then, you know, you meet people who don't see you for, you know, they're not put off or uncomfortable by the way that you appear, because a lot of people think that we look scary sometimes or look intimidating. I have an amazing resting bitch face, especially when I'm out in public. It looks something like this. And until I start talking, I get really animated. So it really warms our heart to be able to meet people who not only have similar interests, but aren't put off by who they assume we're going to be in our lives, and or presume, what have you. I'm rambling.
It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's all right. So to break up,
I don't normally do camera. That's usually his thing. I'm the one holding it in general because I get a little.
So before we get into the next question, I just want to point out, look how big your head is compared to mine. And then if we do this, woo-hoo, woo-hoo, woo-hoo.
You're
So
an owl.
I'm an owl. Yeah. So any time we film something, I'm always deleting tons of outtakes. So if I have a 15-minute video that I upload, there's actually a 45-minute video that's there, and I just chop the heck out of it.
Yeah.
She's always telling me to put stuff in it, and it's always weird stuff like that, like, oh look, my head's bigger than yours, or all kinds of weird things that I say and hand movements. Yeah. That comes from being a choir, actually, you know.
Does it?
It's saying like
Loose
weird,
lips?
like loose lip or like tongue twisters.
Tongue twister,
Yeah. So anyhow, all right.
So that was that one. Some people asked about spooky experiences.
Spooky experiences at Disney, right?
In general, spooky experiences and spooky experiences at Disney would be another one.
Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party is spooky, but
Well, no, I think they're more along the haunted, like scary. Simple Creature, hi, asked us what was your scariest or spookiest experience.
all right.
I still keep looking at the mic. Hi, Mike.
So grim life-wise, I tell this story all the time. So one of my very, 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 very first grim life adventures was a road trip through Texas, and I went to Waco, the Branch Davidian compound. Remember,
I
like David
remember the
Koresh and
story.
stuff like that. And
Yeah.
Texas, if I'm not mistaken, is a shoot first state. You're trespassing, I'm going to shoot you, and I'm okay with that. But since I was living in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania at the time, traveled all across the country, all these back roads to get to this compound, which is a still practicing church, just without David Koresh, obviously.
Church.
And so you get there, and there's signs that say "Do not trespass," and I was like, "Oh, well, never gonna have this experience again." So I went up on the door and I started knocking on doors, and nobody answered. So I'm sitting there going, "Okay, well, this is kind of a bum rap. Nothing's really happening." And you know, like when in the movies.
When someone
How
comes home.
There's a car coming or a horse from way, way off in the distance, and
horse?
but before you see it, there's like a poof of dirt.
The trail, yeah.
Yeah.
Dust trail, yeah.
So about
Dust
a
cloud.
mile away, it's probably closer than that, I see this dust cloud rising up, and I was like, oh god, okay, here comes somebody, I'm gonna get in trouble. And this car pulls up, and it was, I'm guessing, a husband and wife. And they roll down the window and they look at me and they say, "Are you the one selling puppies?" And I was like, "Excuse me, what?" They said, "In Craigslist, are you the one selling puppies?" Nope, wasn't me. So that was silly, that was odd, but that was probably one of the most hair-raising experiences of my life.
Yeah.
Being on a place where so many people died, yeah.
Thriller scenario.
I think it's getting kind of loud out there. I don't know.
I personally am not sure what my scariest experience is. I grew up in a haunted house, a house that was legitimately haunted. We had happenings all the time. But I can't think of anything that has actually scared me as far as a real life experience. I don't have nightmares, so there's one nightmare I had that actually scared me. But in person, I've been in car accidents, I've had haunted houses, I've been in terrible situations, but I would say maybe the scariest thing I've ever lived through is, honest to God, and this is gonna sound stupid because I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, and sometimes walking the streets at night was probably the scariest thing, because we play a game like a lot of cities do. Was that a firecracker or a gunshot? And that would happen in your backyard. So
Like last night, here in Orlando.
Was that a firecracker or was that a gunshot? So nothing supernatural for me. Oh no, actually no. I just thought of one. There's one time. I can't believe I forgot this. There's one time when he was working at the Sorrel Weed House in Savannah, Georgia, and I was with him, and it's a haunted establishment that you can go and take ghost tours with. And I've heard stories of people experiencing things. Had not experienced anything myself until we're closing up the house, and we heard, it was just the two of us. It's a big mansion house. We heard footsteps. We were walking through the cellar, and we heard, very plain as day, heavy boot footsteps above our heads. And he told me about this, and I was like, oh, I heard that we were together. And he's like, yeah, you hear that? Yeah. And I was like, I did. And I was like, the hair goes up, you get a little tingly, your face gets a little flushed. I'm actually getting like nervous just talking about it. And I was like, oh, I actually heard something here finally. And okay, we still have to close up the house, so we go up the cellar stairs onto the first floor. And as soon as we get into the parlor room, off the main hallway.
Yeah, the men's parlor, the women's parlor.
Yeah, the men and women's parlor. We start hearing just violent noises. I don't think it was door slamming. It sounds like someone was punching a wall. It almost sounded like they were throwing things against a wall, but you didn't hear like the item fall to a floor kind of sounds. It was just very violent sounds against the wall. And we kind of stop and go, did someone walk in off the street? Because it's paid tours, and maybe we didn't lock the gate, maybe somebody walked in, and there's a lot of drinking in that area of Savannah, so it's like a drunk patron wandering off the street and they're falling down or something, we don't know, but there's very, very violent sounds. And they started getting closer to us though, and so they're on the floor that we on, and I instinctively was getting so nervous that I pulled out my stun gun from my purse, ready to be confronted with a in-flesh personal attacker, and there was no one. We finished doing our rounds. As soon as we opened the door to leave the men and women's parlor, the sound stopped. And we went to where we thought the sounds were coming from. Of course, there's no one. We finished locking up the house. We never were able to.
Yeah, there was nothing.
There was no. You don't get any answers with these things. And I walking through the house, I had a firm grip on my stun gun because I'm still thinking, oh my God, is someone going to jump out from behind a door and attack us? And it came to a point where I said, I have to leave this house. And that's something that they talk about in the Sorrel Weed House, is that because some things do happen to people, that if you say you need to leave, hey, it's okay, we'll escort you out. Don't be ashamed if you get nervous or scared. And that was my first ever where I had said that I'm comfortable enough and afraid enough that I have to leave this house. And I've never had an experience like that. Not even in the house that I grew up in. We heard sounds and stuff all the time, and it was whatever. It's so constant, it became normal. But so that's my story. A little long, but I don't know if you can tell. I'm getting excited telling it because I just got afraid again remembering.
No, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. If you don't know what the Sorrel Weed House is, it's in Savannah, Georgia.
Links.
It is. Yeah, we'll put links. It's classified as one of the most actively haunted places in all of the South. And if you believe in ghosts, go. If you do not believe in ghosts,
go.
Because until it happens to you, whether you believe in ghosts or not, you really never really truly believe. So, go.
Skeptics welcome.
And honestly,
Very
I can't
welcome.
really believe that. Just throwing it out there that we did a plug for the Sorrel Weed House. I mean, there's a lot of history with us there, and there are good people. There are good people there. It's been a lifetime of history there.
Mm-hmm. Just like its own history, actually.
Yeah, and I mean, we wish the Sorrel Weed House all the luck moving
Many
forward.
years of flourish.
At one point, we were a part of that, tour guides and running the paranormal investigations there, but not anymore. We went our separate ways. It's just life. It's just life. Lindsay Wheat said, "Why did y'all, I like that, decide to move to Orlando? 2 reasons: family and Disney. That's it." Yeah. I mean, it's something as simple as that.
Yeah, we were living in Savannah. My parents moved to Florida, Orlando, here in Orlando, I don't know how long ago. And I was living in New York at the time. And I just had not been in the same state as my mother for at least some 10 years. And there comes a time when you're aging and getting a little bit older, and I'm not saying my mom is sickly. She's doing well. She has some issues, but some things had happened where she got hurt at work, and then my father got a spider bite that he had to have emergency surgery on, and it was just time to come home. It was time to be near our family. And which kind of parlays into another question from, which is a Disney. Hi, I love you guys.
Oh gosh.
Which is, tell us your love story. How did you guys meet? You want to tell it? You want me to tell it?
Go ahead. Let's see how well you remember things.
I do. I remember.
So this is a story all about Hal.
It's a very long. Well,
let's keep it short.
Yeah. Okay.
So
we've been friends, for a while.
A long time.
About 5-6 years. Go ahead.
Yeah.
We'll go back and forth. We'll pick up.
We were kind of like always living in complete opposite ends
Different
of the
states,
country
but- no,
at the time. Well,
same area, different states.
well, no, you never lived in Pennsylvania.
I said different states.
Okay,
I was
different
I was
states.
in New York.
True.
You were in Pennsylvania. I was in New York. When I came down here, you were in Savannah. I was in Florida.
So we've been friends for a very long time, and then long story short, the timing was just right. And 2 Halloweens ago,
We started dating.
and she was living in Florida. I was living in Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah.
We started messaging each other on Halloween night, and we really kind of expressed how we really felt towards each other.
Yeah, and I want to clarify that because you said the timing was never right. But the thing is that we were such close friends. We had this really strong bond and connection that we never before then,
Right.
and we this was something that came up in conversation between us later. I never thought about him in a romantic way.
Right. It was always respectful. And
You're just really good friends. It's
Yeah.
like, man, like he's a really great person, funny, similar interests, and handsome to boot. But I never went, gosh, I can't wait until he's single so I can try to date him. It was just that never crossed my mind. It was just
Same.
always lots of long conversations.
We'd go weeks without talking, and then one day, like, hey, how you doing?
Pick
And
back
that
up.
was it.
Just like a long-time friend. Like I have friends 20 years long that we do the same thing, and it was like we've always known each other in some way. And then
Deep Rivers.
like I said, then the timing was right. We were both actually coming out of
Horrible relationships.
very bad relationships. We both were, and honestly, we were both coming out of abusive relationships, which I say that because it puts you in a particular mindset of how you need to do a lot of healing. And oftentimes in abusive relationships, you cut out a lot of people you didn't intend to because at the bequest of your significant other
Right.
who is not out there for your own interest. They want you isolated, which is
very
part of the whole,
controlling.
So just to give you a mindset of where the bubble was when we finally came together. So basically, we reconnected because we were both doing those rounds. People who have been in our situation, we were doing rounds of apologies of, hey, I finally got out of that relationship. We all know that you can't change what you're doing in that until you for yourself see through your own eyes that you need to change and you need to leave. And then you have that period of embarrassment and regret and just wanting to, I'm about to cry, you start apologizing to the people who were closest to you that you cut off because of your insecurity. So that's what was happening. We were reconnecting after very bad experiences. And I don't know, it was kind of a slip of the tongue. Actually, a Freudian slip, if you will, that we were having one of our conversations, and I went to say, I love your face, and instead I said, I love you. And there was a moment of silence, and I just said, he wasn't talking either. You have that kind of, oh God, what did I just say? And I took a second, realized I meant that.
No
I'm not
backsies.
taking it back. No backsies. So, and I said that, I was like, well, that just happened, and I'm not taking it back.
So, Halloween.
Close to Halloween.
That's
Like,
right. So on Halloween we started talking again. Really started talking, getting to really know each other.
Mm-hmm.
Come Christmas, we're engaged. Come May 1st, we're married. And it's amazing. It's like.
But if I can gush a little bit quick.
Oh gosh.
He proposed to me on Christmas Eve in front of Cinderella's castle, which was amazing, and we'll maybe attach some pictures so you can see. because it was a very
Nobody
bummer.
wants to see
And-
that.
Yes, they do. And I just want to show the ring because I love this, and I get a lot of questions about this. It is a coffin-shaped engagement ring, and I'll post links below too. It is by Coffin Gems, and I'm in love with it, and I love our life, and it just represents us, and boom, go.
Ah, what am I going? What am I doing? Oh, yeah. So,
So that's our story. That's how we met.
us together, our marriage, our love,
Our grim life.
our grim. It's a grim, haunted fairy tale.
Yeah.
Nothing in this world is perfect. Even whenever somebody makes something with their own two hands and they take days, hours, weeks, months, or whatever. But I would say if there's anything as close to perfect as can be, I don't know. It's such a weird thing to say. Like you can't really like put words into it. It's just like we fit so well together.
We are the same versions of each other in opposite
Right.
roles.
She's me as a girl, and I'm her as a guy.
Yeah, really.
I mean, it sounds so cheesy to say that,
It does. I mean,
but it's the God's honest truth.
I've never been so sure-headed or calm in my life. And for me, if you know me, everyone's probably like, what? I have an anxiety disorder and a panic disorder, which have ruled my life and kept me from doing a lot of things. And just the fact that he's near me puts me completely at ease. And that's always been our relationship, really. And I really didn't recognize that until later on. When you don't feel like you have to try in a relationship, when you have that level of comfort, that easiness, go with it. It could bring you to amazing things.
I think we got one question.
Yeah. So enough of the mushy stuff. Sorry.
Like I said, it's our
We're
first one.
newlyweds.
We're just ranting.
We're
just
newlyweds
ranting.
and we get excited.
So we have one question, and I think it's a very important question.
This one?
We get this more than anything from friends
Yeah.
and family.
Oh yeah.
Constantly. Well, there's two questions we get. This is a two-part. We're going to talk about the second one. Eric, I used to work with Eric in Atlanta. Good guy. Very good guy, actually. He asked, my question is, why are you at Disney forever? Do you work there? Some people ask, do you live there? It doesn't seem like our usual places. That is 100% correct. It doesn't seem like our usual places. When Grim Life first started out, it was all about murder sites and cults and anything real-life horror. And in a way,
Roadside attractions that were.
yeah, the Disney stuff can be like that. But we live here in Orlando is a big thing. We live here. It is in our backyard.
Well, yeah, that too. But it starts. I think the question people have more is not why are you at Disney so often, but why Disney? Because
Right.
of how we seem, and that's the nature of Disney. All ages and all walks of life, all walks of interests, and I mean, do we love our horror? Yes. I'm a bigger sci-fi nut than he is. He likes cooking shows more than I do.
I'm a big, like, B-rated movies. I love cheesy
Yeah.
horror and cheesy sci-fi.
I like some good cheese, but some of
Yeah.
it's too much for me.
Cheese is awesome.
But obviously the Disney villains are an automatic go-to of love there. And you don't have to be brought up on Disney to love Disney, but I was.
See, I wasn't. Like, I remember, and I grew up in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and we weren't very well-to-do money-wise.
Same.
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 And I remember seeing these commercials on TV where it was like, for a week-long stay at Disney, you can spend this amount of money, sell your arm, sell your leg, and you can have this happen. And I remember sitting there and always wanting to go. So now we live here, and there's so many questions. People always ask, along with that, is how do you afford it all the time? To be fair, one day at Disney can cost over $100 per person for one park. Disney has like 4 parks, right? Yeah, 4 parks.
Yep.
We pay for a Florida resident pass, and we pay about $100 a month for the both of us. It gets us unlimited access free parking. Without that, we would be broke and selling our
As a
blood
Florida
in
resident,
tears.
you get, instead of, when you buy the annual passes as a Florida resident, you can make payments every month. Instead of buying it one lump sum, which people who live outside of Florida have to do, you have to buy it all up front. As a Florida resident, you don't have to. You put down a deposit and then you pay a set amount a month depending on which membership you choose, and we chose the platinum because the platinum has no blackout days, which
Right.
means we can go to any park any day as often as we want all day long. We can hop around to every park that we want to, and it's all inclusive. Like you said, you do get free parking. You get 20% off of purchases in specific shops and specific food areas, mostly the reservation food areas. So that helps. It helps a lot. And we go because it doesn't cost us anything to go unless we decide to eat there or maybe we pick up a souvenir, but we're not paying for parking and it gets us out of the house and it's good exercise too. Plus,
We lose so much weight sweating here in Florida. It's so hot here.
there's such a timeless feeling to Disney though. I mean, you can go to so many of the theme parks, but Disney just has. We put it into words the other day. What was it?
You can travel the entire world in one day with Disney. It has a home feel to it. Like we'll go to another park like Universal Studios, which we are also past members to, and everything has a certain awe to it, certain amount of fun to it. But Disney has this sense of home and family, and we love our family. Don't get us wrong.
It's magic.
There's
It
just
is
something
magical.
magical about it.
Yeah,
And with that,
it's not your basic theme park, and it's not your basic carnival. It has a little touch of something extra that you can't put into words.
that's awesome. But with that, I think we're going to cut this a little short. Like I said, this is our first time doing this, so hopefully the sound is decent. We just kind of stumbled upon this place, the Hangar Bar, mainly to pick up these little puppies.
Yeah, but the staff has been amazing.
Yeah.
And the food, we haven't looked at the menu extensively yet, but the prices are very good. Highly recommend coming down.
The Hangar Bar
Highly
in
recommend.
Disney Springs, or if you're old school, downtown Disney.
Yeah.
It's a great place to
The detail
have.
to restaurants, it will not be surpassed by anything else. The detail that they put into every single restaurant that they have.
Right now, we're sitting inside a diving bell. An
Yeah.
actual, well, I don't know if it's real, but
Probably not.
it's really
but,
cool.
Yeah. We are trying to cut it short. Sorry about that. We've been taking up some of their table space for a while, and yeah. If we didn't put anything into words or answer a question that you have, maybe comment below, and we'll do
Look
our
how
best.
small my hand looks compared to my head right now.
Oh my god.
They're so tiny.
Oh.
Anyhow, yeah, we are very bizarre, so first time doing it, like I said, I'm not sure. I thought maybe we'd be able to see some comments if people have comments, probably not, but let us know what you think if you'd like to see more of these, and we will fine-tune how we do this. But if you have any suggestions, please feel free to send them our way. And like I said, if you see us out in the parks, whether you're on vacation or down here,
you Usually you can see me by, well, he's 6'2", so he's easier to spot, but I can usually be found walking around in my giant sun hat so I don't get sunburned. So if you see a couple that looks like this, just stop and say hi. We're very friendly, I promise.
with that, stay scary.